I'm 13 years old and I'm washing my hands for the 20th time. I've checked the lights in the oven at least a dozen times because I've been swearing at God all day and I'm scared something bad is gonna happen. I am an undiagnosed obsessive compulsion disordered patient, and I am going to struggle with this well into my 20s. And now my daughter, that same OCD monster that wormed its way into my thoughts, is now worming itself into hers, and she is down. And we have tried everything for years, and nothing's working. And there were times that not only did we feel helpless, but we felt hopeless. OCD affects about 1% of the population. That's, in America, 3.2 million people who suffer from this. There's probably a dozen people in this room who understand what I'm talking about. And some people think it's funny. They're like, oh, you have OCD? Will you come over and clean my house? No. These thoughts are intrusive and they're scary. They're about death and destruction and self-harm or harm to others. And the compulsions or the rituals are designed to stop them. So counting and chanting and hoarding and cleaning, they're all designed to stop it. But we finally found out that Children's Hospital has a program for teens with extreme levels of OCD. It meets 4 days a week, 3 hours a day, and then 2 hours every day with homework. And when you get there, they tell you right away, hey, okay, you're gonna be riding a wave, and thoughts are not actions. And when OCD says to do something, you do the opposite. And you're gonna become best friends with your OCD detective. We're like, okay. And then they'd ask you, when we do an exposure, tell us what your SUDs are. If it's okay and cool, you can do it with a 1, that's great. But if it's gonna make your head blow off, that's a 10, you gotta let us know. And so right away, we started with teeth brushing because she had a fear of chemicals and death, so that had become an issue. It was not happening. And so right away, she's a 10. And then she's an 8. And then a 7. And by the end of the first week, she is brushing her teeth twice a day for homework. And then as she gets stronger, they just put a bottle of chemicals next to her, and she's like, 10, 10, 10, 6, 5, and it got better. And then she got stronger, and while she's brushing her teeth, now they're like, psh, psh, psh. She's like, 10, 10! And she's noticing that no one is dying. So maybe OCD lies? And then they spray her hands. And they put Doritos in them, and they say, eat. What? Eat. So she does, and then we all start eating out of her phalanges of death. And on the ride home, she wasn't at a 10, she was at a 10,000. And she wailed, that kind of guttural cry that I used to, you know, the kind that comes up from your toes, and as it's coming up, it's scraping off years of tar, of self-doubt and fears because you're just so sick of arguing with it. But I can't say anything. They've taught me that every time I reassure her and I say, baby, it's okay, no one's gonna die, you're fine, I'm throwing a bone to her OCD monster. So I just have to sit there with her and ride that wave while she's negotiating with her OCD detective. And it's telling her, you gotta dump this toxic friend. It's lying to you, and we've shown you over and over again, and you gotta get rid of it. But like any toxic friend, it fights back. It says, oh, you don't mean that. No, we do everything together. I built you. Without me, you'd be nothing. So shut up and count. Because if you don't count, there will be a school shooting or a plane crash, or you or someone you love will die. So shut up and count. She stares at the bag of chips because she's got to eat them again without washing her hands. And she rips that bag open and she says, screw you, OCD. And that's when I knew she was gonna make it, that she'd turn the corner, that finally we have some tools that can help us and her. And we still have to do exposure work. It's not over. It's an ongoing thing to manage. But she has it. And that kid that I saw strapped down and couldn't move in April is now standing strong and facing every fear she's ever had, because now she is an OCD warrior. Thank you.